Good morning. I hope you're having a fabulous day. And I thought I'd bring you along for some interesting conversation that I had earlier this week. A really cool thing happened, and I thought it would be a great opportunity for me to share with you what's possible when you get good at your words, good at scripts, good at connecting and building the sense of knowing, liking, trust. What I'm talking about here is rapport. So your words matter, and this was a great illustration that came to fruition just this week. So I got a phone call earlier this week on Tuesday, and the message basically said, "Hey, Carrie, I don't know if you're still in the business of selling real estate, but years ago," and I'll let you into the insight here in just a second. She said, "Years ago, you came to my house, you did a market analysis, and you also walked me through that if I were to be selling in the current market, these are things, renovations, updates that I could do that would be effective for the long term, and also in terms of making my house more sellable and doing the right things in terms of upgrades and updates, etc." So I gave her some strong opinions on all of those things, etc., for her to consider. She was not in the market at the time to sell her home. She just simply got, I had this was back, it had to have been at least 10 years ago. This is 2025, and this was about the time I was starting to lean into prospecting for sell by owners and expireds with scripts that I was learning. And so I had found a FISBO down in Alamo Heights, and I had secured that listing, put that house on the market. And for those that are not in the area, this is San Antonio, Texas that I'm referring to. And so she bit on one of my offers that I mailed out after I secured the listing. I had a series of follow-ups that I would send out around the listings that I was selling and promoting. And so she took me up on the offer, and I came over, met with her, just spent great time with her, gave her great, incredible value contribution, and helped serve her. And while I was there, this is the point that I want to make with you, is words matter. So what I did on that appointment, which was the genius in how this turns out, is I asked her, she says, "Well, what do I owe you for today?" I said, "Oh, this was a free service, a free consultation, a value offer that I was offering you." I said, "The only thing that I ask in return is for you to deliver on your promise. And what I'm asking you to promise me is that in the future, if you ever decide you do want to sell and you're in the market to liquidate this beautiful home, I'd like for you to promise to consider me as an option and give me the chance to interview. Would you promise that?" And she said, "Oh my gosh, of course I would promise to do that." And I said, "Excellent. So I'm going to keep you at your word. And that's all I ask in return today, is for you to keep your promise, for you to keep your word. And I look forward to that day in the future someday. And between now and then, in any way that I can continue to serve you and be of value to you with your real estate needs, questions, etc." So fast forward this week, 10 years later, I get the voicemail, and it says, "Hi, I don't know if you're still in the business, Carrie, but I wanted to check because I promised you that if I was ever going to sell my home, I would give you a chance." And so I got that call. I was so delighted. I called her back. And then I, of course, referred her to the person that I refer all my old San Antonio business to. So I know she's in great hands. And it's just interesting to see things come to fruition. So planting the seed of trust, expecting that you'll do what you promise. Because here's the thing with the word making a promise and having someone promise you, that was the key there, is that your subconscious mind is going to do everything it can to be in alignment with promises that you make, dreams that you're looking to achieve, goals you're looking to set out and get done and meet. So your subconscious mind is the goal getter. Your conscious mind is your goal setter. Your subconscious mind is the goal getter. And so what I was doing by having her promise me, I had her promise me with her words. And then I said, thank you for promising to consider me in the future. Now, if she'd have said, no, I'm not making that promise, I'm not comfortable doing that, then I'd know we're probably just not a fit anyway, right? I'd done a bad job of rapport and delivering in that liking and trust. So in that case, that's all. You just chalk it up. Well, this was an opportunity and it didn't fit. It didn't work out, and that's great. But by getting her to say the words, would you just promise to consider me in the future if at any time you are going to think about selling your home, liquidating this beautiful home? And she said, oh my gosh, of course I would do that. And she kept my information. I haven't done any marketing for the last at least 7 years in the San Antonio market. And she kept my information, obviously, because I've been gone from San Antonio for 5 years. And then for the last 2 years, I was coaching in San Antonio and not really doing real estate at that time. So here we are, at least 10 years later. So your words matter is my point today. And when you get someone to make a promise, people are usually going to keep their word with you. And that's because the subconscious mind is doing everything it can to stay in alignment with the promises so that you're congruent, that there's congruency there. And so the fact that she kept all my information and data and all that, it's just a super fun story, and it brings hope, and it just sets out that that's how you build a practice in a referral-based business where it keeps feeding you and showing up years and years and years later in the process. So the tiny things that you're doing now do build up, and over time they do matter. And then it's just that revenue stream that shows up when you least expect it, and it brings delight and joy, and it goes, oh, all that hard work and efforting I was doing that doesn't feel like it's paying off in the moment. And then later you just get to sit back and relax and just reap the rewards of the work and effort that you did, the magic that you made way back then. And so I thought it was a great story and testimony to the journey of the business that we're doing, the journey of building something and believing in the long run, being here for the long term, both for yourself, but also for the community that you're serving. So fun thing. So if words matter, then I want to invite you over to our newest creation product and project that we're doing, which is the WordLab. We had the very first WordLab this week. It's Wednesdays, 10 to 10:30, where I impart and teach you about a language pattern. Like that would have been an example of one. This week we actually did something called the hierarchy of ideas. The card from the card deck, so we're focused on the seeds deck. The suite of cards this quarter, Q4, is the seeds deck, where we are cultivating seeds, and this was seeds of big picture. And so that's part of the hierarchy of ideas. If you know much about languaging and words, it goes to the NLP practice of hierarchy of ideas from Milton Erickson, who was brilliant with words and chunking people up to big, general, big picture thinking. This next week, we're going to chunk down into the details and how that is helpful in bringing people together and bridging the gap in negotiations, etc. So we did that this week, and we'll do the counterpart to that this next week, chunking down. And it's just a lot of fun, having fun with words and language. So if you want to get better, the skill of language, the art of words, you've got to join the WordLab. It's going to be really fun. So if there's time, we do live play, role play. And if not, you also always have access to the replay. Comes with the beautiful deck of cards. And then we do one card per week. So you have focused attention throughout that week on just that one word that you're learning and practicing, and that for you're integrating and then able to impart that out into the world with the work that you're doing. So this is all about skill set, but it is also helping rewire some mindset activity as well for you. So love it. Wednesdays 10 to 10:30. If you're interested, just reach out. It's on our website too. I think you can join there. We've sent out a lot of posts and stuff and encouraging about that, and I'll put something in wherever that drop down is here in this space as well, so that you can find it. So I hope to see you at a future Word Lab where you get proficient and skillful around the skill set of words and bring magic into your word of language and have fun with the art of language. With that, have an amazing day. Thought I'd share that fun story. Bye, y'all.